Howdy everyone, Nimby here, good morning. This morning we're going to be tying up a Scarlet Woman. That's what we're doing. This is on a size 4 salmon hook. Or salmon steelhead hook anyway. I'm going to be starting my thread just a little back from the eye. Hey Rob, good to have you in more this morning, mate. Appreciate it. He must have caught you on a break that was right quick. Yeah, so we're just going to tie in our thread. Kind of at a normal tie-in spot here, just a little bit behind the eye where we're going to be doing tying in our wings. I was mucking with my bobbins yesterday, helping Tyler out, and they're a little bit loose. And I also had to put new thread in because I ran out of thread yesterday. So we do want to keep a consistent, even thread base on this one because we're going to be doing a tinsel body. Nice. Freaking love waffles and bacon, especially the bacon. Oh, you got a full belly, just get yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee or something and relax, watch a few flies. Sounds like a good morning to me. I got a couple hours and I'm gonna have to get to work. Gotta get some firewood, feed chickens, do a few other things for work. Hey, Tyler's in. Good to see you back, mate. It's expensive and good. Okay, so we want to stop this one right between the point and the barb, in the middle, especially on these. I'm sure the people that are selling them and want your money will tell you it works better. I don't think it works bad. I've never used one myself, but I know that people that do use them like them. But I also know that people that do use them also use several other different types of bobbins. I'm sure there is fly tyers out there that is their only bobbin that they use and they love it. Just generally speaking, that is not what I see. Not that it's a bad thing or anything. Like I said, I haven't used it myself. I like fairly cheap bobbins, to be honest. But everything I do know about it tells me that the engineering that went into it is well thought out. So, from everything I've seen people tying with it and seen it in the fly shops and watch people use it in videos, it seems like a good bobbin. But I also noticed that everyone that has one has other bobbins. So that would tell me that it probably has a limitation of some sort. Just excuse me for a minute, just getting my glasses on here, but I smudged them up. So yeah, I would think it would be a perfectly fine bobbin. I just don't think it would be your only bobbin. For my money, like, I like good and quality equipment. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I toad on the cheap stuff often, mostly because a lot of my viewership and people I know are, don't want to drop a lot of money on gear and material. And those are my people. Yeah, there's what is it called now? The reel bobbin is another good one. Like I said, the Stanfo is good. I just noticed that everyone that has a Stanfo generally has like 4 or 5 other bobbins off to the side, so it clearly wasn't like a cure-all, end-all for them. I'm pretty sure it's the real bobbin. There's one that has like, it only has one arm coming off the one side, and it has an adjustment. Let's see if I can lift this up enough so you can see. So it has one arm coming off this side, and it has adjustment, and then like a dial on here so you can adjust the tension. I want to say that one's called the real bobbin. And I've heard really good things about that one too. And it's not like ridiculously expensive. It's kind of mid-range. But as far as tension adjustments goes, that one seems to be really good for that specific issue, because that's kind of its selling feature, is that it's really good at adjusting tension. It has like Teflon bearings and different technology to help you with that. If you want to go like big bobbin, like in my opinion, if you're tying like big flies, like say what David ties or what Spirit Fly ties, you might want to look at one of Brian's bobbins. They're a lot beefier though. That's the only thing. They're not my style of bobbin. If I was doing a lot of big bait fish patterns or saltwater flies, then it would be handy because you could really torque on it, and it's got a lot of weight to hold the tension of your yeah, good. That's a good way to put it, Rob. Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this Donfo is like bad whatsoever, because I don't have any experience with it. I just noticed that everyone that has one seems to have several others. So, it could have been that they bought that one after. It could have been that they bought it and found, hey, this is only good for these flies, so I need a bobbin for this. Yeah, like long and short of it, for my overall general advice for you is, if you have a cheap metal bobbin, a slightly more expensive bobbin with a glass tip on it, and a ceramic tube bobbin, like all these together are going to be cheaper than one Stonfo or one loon or one whatever. So like, I know you're just starting out, mate, so like if you got the money to drop on it though, drop some money on something good. I know K-Fish really likes the loon bobbin, and I do like a lot of loon products, so I've seen a lot of people that really like the loon stuff, and I think it's well thought out. Pretty much any of the mainstream kind of higher end bobbins, I mean, they wouldn't sell if they weren't half decent, right? But I know Brian's bobbins for the Flysmith, he has a tensioner on it as well. Yeah, loon's nice because it's like it's a nice mix in between like a traditional bobbin like I'm using, or sorry, brain shut off. It's a nice mix between a traditional bobbin and something more modern, and it has higher quality materials. So yeah, I would definitely not be against using something like a loon bobbin. Yeah, like if you're just starting out, there's nothing wrong with starting with that. Like at all. Not even a little bit. I don't know if this is long enough. We'll save this for the second fly, and then I can tell if it's long enough. We'll cut a new piece that's a bit longer. So we're just tying in some Uni-French silver as a small, yeah, or medium? It's medium? Yeah, sorry, medium. There we go. Uni-French silver medium. It's a little bit like people that buy guns. You'll get the odd person that buys guns, that buys one gun and they're happy with it for the rest of their life, and they do all their shooting and hunting and everything with it. But the average person that buys guns probably has a whole closet full, for this or that or the other thing. So fly tying is a little bit like that. You're probably going to end up with like 10 or 20 bobbins, and you'll like one for one thing and one for another. like the long and short of it is, if there was a silver bullet that worked for every single fly and it worked great, we'd all be using it, right? Every fly tire would be using the same bobbin. If it was well priced, it was not inexpensive but well priced. You know, if it checked all the boxes, every one of us would have it on our bench. And there isn't a bobbin that I'm aware of out there that checks all the boxes. They all have their little niche, they all have the little problem that they're trying to solve, which is good. You know, it's not a bad thing. But you're not going to find a magic bullet out there. Now, you might find a bobbin specifically that you love, and it matches 95% of all the boxes that you need to check off. And if you find that, awesome. You know, fill your boots. That's the bobbin for you. Yeah, for me, just regular old standard $3 steel bobbin. I mean, not that I haven't had problems with it. Like, they do fail. Like, they're not going to last forever. It's not a hand-me-down item. Like this one here specifically, I ran GSP through it and put a bunch of grooves in the tip. So now this one holds my lead, because it doesn't matter if it has grooves in it for lead. But again, it was like $3, so whatever. You know, just get another one. It's just like having a paintbrush, right? You might have a really nice $60 mink hair paintbrush, but even that's only going to last you so many paintings before you start wearing the bristles out, right? And a better quality one, like Rob said, like a loon or what have you, those are going to last longer for you too. The black scissors are generally, there's two companies that a lot of people will use. If you're talking like black as in they have black, it's really too bad. This one's missing. It's got some damage on this side. I might have to actually cut from up top here. I'm just looking at the feather. We'll get to this one in a sec. I'm just getting ahead of myself here like I do. There's some really nice, I don't own a pair, but I'd like to. I've used them, and yeah, very true, Rob. And that's the thing is, like, if you're using cheaper gear, you have to be aware that it's cheaper gear, right? And that it has its limitations. And the more you tie, the more you can actually get by with cheaper gear and realize, like I said, I made the same mistake Rob did. I just, instead of using a threader, I ran GSP through this. And it was like the first time I used GSP, so I had no idea it would literally cut steel, you know, after using it for like 10 flies. I had no idea. It didn't make any sense to me. It's like, it's thread. How's it going to cut steel? But yeah, no, it will. It'll cut your steel bobbin all up. The exact same problem that Rob had, just with GSP thread. So, you know, live and learn, right? Alright, let's get this moving here. I'm going to tie in... so we have a silver. That's going to be for our wrap, and then we're going to do silver broad tinsel for the body. Do a flat tinsel with a wrap over. So I am changing this pattern up very slightly. Since I don't have large jungle cock eyes for the overwing, I'm going to be using red squirrel. Since it is a Scarlet Woman, we're going to go with red. Red. And I think it'll have a very similar, if not almost exactly the same deal. But yeah, like, I know you're new and starting out, Tyler, but really don't get bent out of shape over products and, you know, which brand you should get and everything like that. I know that the marketing, that's exactly what the marketing is there for. And it's really hard to not, but don't. I don't have it handy on me. I'll tell you what, next stream, if you're in here, Tyler, I'll grab it ahead of time so I can show you. One of the there's a gentleman. A lot of my equipment that I'm not the stuff I'm using today, but I did actually no, that's not true. This squirrel tail came from him. So this squirrel tail here that we're going to be using today came from he's not a, I wouldn't say a famous fly tyer, but he was pretty well known. Well, passed away unfortunately. But I bought a lot of his equipment, and I got some of his old vices and his old bobbins, and he's been tying for, you know, probably most of his life. He ran a little fly shop, it was a big part of his life, right? And I got his old bobbins, and most of his old bobbins were handmade. Like they were just made out of pieces of like coffee can. Like I'm not joking. I'll show you guys them tomorrow. I'll bring them out. I think they're just in one of my storage boxes, but I'll have to dig them out. But they're really interesting because he tied thousands of flies, and they're just bobbins he made himself with solder and metal tube and coffee can bits, and yeah, and he tied thousands of flies with them. And if you're looking at the people that mass produce fly ties in, say, Africa, Kenya, Sudan, places like that, where they tie thousands a day, they all make their own bobbins, and the reason is because they wear out, right? So they buy the metal stainless steel tubes, and they'll make their own bobbins with a little bit of wood and a couple marbles, and and they're tying thousands of flies a day. So don't think that you need like a $60, $70 bobbin to tie flies. Like, you can have that though. It's not anything. There's nothing wrong with having one. But don't think it's necessary. It's really, 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 really not. If you get one though, and it makes your heart sing, and it makes you more confident on the vise, sure, fill your boots. If you got the $60 to drop on it, drop it. But don't feel like it's a requirement, because it's really, 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 really not. Now, all that being said, if running into trouble, like you said, with the thread tension problem you're running into that we went over yesterday, and say a problem like Rob ran into, where it got you frustrated to the point of quitting, that part's not cool, you know? Yeah, 100%. Yep. And that's the thing, is like when someone walks into a fly shop, especially a fly shop, they don't need to be there. The only reason someone walks into a fly shop is to feel good and to buy something to make them feel good. They're not selling food, they're not selling shelter, they're not selling anything that anyone actually needs. They're selling you like a promise and a daydream and some conversation. Like, really, when you boil it down. Nobody absolutely needs anything in that shop. It's all for our hobby and our egos and all the other things. So try and keep that in mind when you're newer. Again, there's nothing wrong with buying an expensive shiny bobbin, but there's nothing wrong with buying an expensive shiny pair of scissors too. Like, it's just like anything else in the world. There is someone out there that will sell you a more expensive something. There is never an end to that treadmill. You know, you can go anywhere from a $10 vise, or literally, I can make a vise that works pretty well for like $1. I'm not exaggerating. For about $1.50, and it will tie flies for you. And then you can go all the way up to a vise like this one. That's like $1,000, and I can even go way higher than that. You can go up to like $5,000, which is like the price of a car for something that's literally just holding a hook. You know. So yeah, don't get bent out of shape on it. Is my only major point on that. It's not worth it. But if the spending the money bit and that is important to you, I'm gonna try and clean up a few of these spots here. Hey, Muddy, thanks for coming in, mate. The long and short of it is, like, if you have a bobbin that just makes you feel comfortable and makes you enjoy the tying, it doesn't matter what the price tag is, right? That's the bobbin for you. Just like we all drive different types of cars. You know, not everyone's driving a Toyota Camry or something, right? We all have our preferences, and there's not necessarily a good and a bad for any of that. But keep in mind, like, if you go into a Toyota dealer, they're going to try and sell you a Toyota Camry, right? If you go into a Nissan dealer or a Ford dealer, they're going to try and sell you a Nissan or a Ford and tell you that it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it will change your life, and everything will be great, and it will fix all your problems. That's marketing. And some of those things they're telling you might be true. So the big part of it really is just what works for you. Just like I can't tell you what the absolute best vehicle to buy is, I can't tell you what the best bobbin to buy is. Because every one of them each one of them does something, right? It solves a problem. Like even between the vices or the bobbins I have here, right? This one is ceramic. So the problem it solves is GSP thread. GSP thread will not chew through ceramic. The ceramic will chew through the GSP thread. It's harder. So that solves that problem. This one has a glass tip on it. So again, it solves the problem with thread coming out on this angle. It does not solve the problem, however, with thread chewing up this base, because there's only one bead at the top. Some of the better ones will have beads on both ends. This one solves the problem with just regular thread, because it doesn't need to have, like, I tied thousands of flies with this before I wrecked it. If you're using just regular nylon thread, this will not wear out. It'll actually get better with time as it polishes the tube on the inside. But if you put the wrong thing in it, yep, you're gonna wreck it. So each style and each bobbin, oh, here we go. Here's one. We saw this one yesterday. But this one has a bead, and a really nice, actually, glass insert bead. And then on the bottom, it has a really nice glass insert bead. And this one also solves another problem in that it's stubby and short and thick. So if I'm doing like bait fish patterns or things where I'm going to be like reefing down on this barrel is way stronger than the other barrels, right? It's not going to fold on me or bend or anything. It's going to give me a lot of control and tension that I can get right up in there. But it also creates problems too. It's thick. So if I'm tying on a little hook, like this is a size 4, right? And I can just, I can pass this through, but not by a whole lot. So if I'm tying on like a 12 or an 18, it's like this is really hard to get up in there to get tail tied on or something because it's thick. But it works great for big hooks and bait fish and stuff like that. So hopefully that makes sense for you. There's no silver bullet. They all do something. Like I could use a small bobbin like this one. This one's really thin because this one also slides up and down, so it's a double shaft. Which is another problem that it solves, right? I can extend this out and make it really long so I can get in there for long Aberdeen hooks and stuff like that. So yeah, like, it's unlikely, it could happen, but it's very unlikely that you would walk into a fly shop and find the bobbin that solves all your problems. I don't think that exists. It might, but I've never seen it. That's probably not the answer you wanted, but that's the one I'm giving you. Just being brutally honest. It would be really hard, like, if you made a bobbin that did solve all the different tying problems. And I think a lot of ways that's kind of what Brian was going with his bobbin. Again, I haven't used one of his bobbins either. It's just an assumption. But the more you add to the bobbin, it ends up being like a Swiss Army knife, right? And Swiss Army knives are great, but if you end up, like I own some Swiss Army knives, I like my knives, by the way. Actually, I'm gonna half hitch this and use a rotary. But with a Swiss Army knife, it gets to a point where the thing is thick like a slice of bread, and it becomes very unwieldy and hard to use, and it's hard to get all the different things out of it. And it's like, you figure a Swiss Army knife would be like the knife. It has all the different things, you know, it's got saw and scissors and everything like that. It can do like a lot of stuff. It's a multi-tool. But the reason people don't carry Swiss Army knives around is because they do everything, but they don't do all of it extremely well. So the more junk you throw on it to try and be to try and solve all the problems, sorry about the camera, am I still in frame? Yeah, okay, good. The more you try to solve everyone's problems, the less precise you're getting. And I think that's... am I going to have to put a little glue on that? I might have to put a little glue on that, it's really slippy. Yeah, let's just put a little head cement along the top then. Like Rob was saying with the loon bobbins, they're kind of taking a nice mid-road, right? They're set up for like your main tying stuff, and the problems they're trying to solve are problems that most fly tyers are going to run into on most flies. It's just a good quality, general purpose, average bobbin that's comfortable and, you know, made out of decent material. And they're not trying to be a Swiss Army knife. They're trying to be more like a pocket folder, you know, where it's still convenient because it folds up, but when it comes out it locks. And then it's safe and sturdy. And like, if I had to analogy a loon bobbin to a knife, it would be like a nice pocket folder. They're going to get people that aren't going to like folders. They're going to be like, well, you know, that's a fail point, blah, blah, blah. And they want to have a single piece steel, like a K-bar or something. They want something big and beefy. Which Valhalla was in here, he could probably yabber about the different blade types and everything, and they all have their ups and downs. And they would be right. A folder can fail. The lock can fail. It can fold back on your fingers. It's not as sturdy as a full tanged knife. But it's also less convenient. You gotta carry it in a sheath on your hip, probably, if you want some length to it. And for some people, that's not gonna annoy them. They're gonna like having that on their hip. Yeah, Swiss Army bobbin. Yeah, it's got scissors, it's got a bodkin, it's got everything built right into the bobbin. You don't need another tool. You can just do everything and cut and everything with your bobbin. That would actually be kind of a cool product. Copyright by Nimby, don't steal it. But hopefully that's making sense to you, and I'm not just rambling. I am honestly trying to give you honest advice. Like, I'm not selling bobbins. I'm not gonna make any money over you buying one bobbin or another. I'm just giving you honest advice from many other tyers I've seen go one way or the other. Like K-Fish, I'm trying to remember which. Did he have the right bobbin? I'm trying to remember which. Does anyone in the chat remember which bobbin K-Fish had before he switched to the loon bobbin? But he did the same thing. He bought it. He really liked it. It solved a handful of problems for him. He was happy with it when he first got it. But the more he used it, the more he realized it wasn't quite, it was on that other end of the problems that he was trying to originally solve. And then as he switched his tying up, going back to jigs, he kind of realized, like, hey, I don't need the tension thing as much. I don't need all this stuff. I really just need a good, solid, basic, kind of well-built bobbin. And that's why he went to the loon bobbin. And you'll see that with a lot of tyers, where they'll make a choice. It's not a wrong choice. It's just after a while, like, either their needs changed. So yeah, I think that's really my overarching point on that whole thing is, don't get stuck in a rut. Don't fall for all the marketing, right? And the marketing isn't always wrong, but it's there to sell you. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I like that one. Okay, so we got the body tied in, which is really just a simple. I know it's taken me a good long while just to tie in a simple body, but we've been yabbering. Yeah, just simple. You can omit the silver oval tinsel if you want to just do a flat tinsel. You can even do the whole body in oval tinsel. You could do the whole body in what do they call it now? That tinsel braid wrap. I've seen a lot of people do that as well because it helps to shine and reflect the water a lot, and that works quite well. So there's no like hard and fast rule on that one. The original pattern just calls for flat tinsel, but a lot of the pictures I've seen from that time frame too show it tied with oval tinsel. So whatever you feel, it's all good. Fish aren't gonna care. Let's go with. Okay, so we gotta tie in. Just wondering if I should tie the beard in first. Yeah, we should probably tie the beard in first. So again, I'm glad I got this pack of orange saddle hackles because I wasn't really sure I was going to use them, but I'm using them on like every second fly. Oh no! Okay, Rob, that's good. I needed a good pun. That was good. I like that. Alright, so we're going to strip off all this wispy stuff in the bottom because we don't need it. I have some kind of half eaten up of these feathers over here, but as you work your way to the top, it gets thinner and thinner. And these make better tails than they'll make. These will actually make excellent tails, the ones up top here. If you can see it on the camera, where you get this middle ridge that's thicker, and then you get these nice, kind of hard, translucent hackle ends. This top bit's going to make much better tails and such than beards. You want some movement for the beard, so I want to have some life to it. This is an attractor fly too for salmon, so salmon steal it. So it's not really imitating like any bait fish or anything per se. It's just there to tick them off so they'll nail it. So we're going to be tying this upside down. And we're going to tie it in 3 chunks. I'm going to let's see here. We want it to come down kind of to the point of the hook, so about yay long. So about half of this. I'm going to do it in 3 chunks and fairly large. It's a pretty bushy beard. So we're going to go with that much for the first tie-in. For the middle one, I might actually reduce it slightly, but we'll see how it goes. There we go. So we want a nice wisp like this. That pulled off really well. All the ends are together. You can just pack it a little bit like a snowball. That'll help to get the ends laying where they need to go. And we're going to tie that in. Actually, I mucked up because I don't have my thread in the right spot, so let's do that first. We want to tie it in either right on the ridge of this. Here, I'll use my bodkin as a little pointer. You want to tie it in kind of right here. Right in the ridge between your head bump and the body there. You can tie it right on the ridge of this. It's a little harder to do because your thread might slip one way or the other. That's fine. The reason is once you tie in your overwing, you're going to be putting pressure here and tying your overwing in mostly here. And if you tie this in, and when you're tying in your overwing, you're going to change the pressure on this, and it's going to cause it to either flare or go flat. So you got to tie it in on one side or the other of the wing. We want to go almost to the hook point. And again, we're going to be tying this in 3 times, so right about there looks good. Why won't you follow the little crew? There we go. I'm going to be a little careful. That head cement I put on there, I can feel it on my fingers, is still a little on the wet side. There we go. So that's the first one. And there's going to be 3. I'm going to pull this sideways just a bit more. There we go. Okay. Now just one. I just do one extra wrap here. You can see that'll flare it out, right? That's the other side, so that's what's going to look like on that side. We want it kind of just on the side. So the 2 on the sides are going to be the side one, and then your center is going to be your center. Hence 3. How's it going? Hey, just casual. Hopefully you like those pike flies I'd put in there for you. Hopefully that helps you out a bit. So same thing, we're going for like a gap height for each of these, give or take. I meant to post those last night, actually, ironically, and then seen your post there when I got up, and I was like, oh yeah, right, I was going to put more of those up. We're going to be doing some salmon streamers next that I'll probably get out later today. For a post on there to kind of go along with our streamer theme that we're doing now. Okay, so I'm starting this one almost in the center, but as I wrap, it's gonna grab it and pull it. At least it should, hopefully. Thank you. I got this one in a thrift store in Arizona. There we go. As you wrap, it generally pulls it that direction anyway. So it's good to account for that. There we go. That's actually looking pretty full, but we're going to do a third one in the middle. So I did left and then right. There we go. You going anywhere specific for the pike fishing there, casual, or? I've only caught pike in Alberta, in the prairies. I have to admit that was a lot of fun. Excuse me. More tea. Hey, Muddy. Good to have you in, mate. Sorry, I was a little bit slow on that one. My chatterbot doesn't catch everything. More tea. Ugh, all the talking gets my throat going. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got our beard, and I'm really happy with that beard. That's looking nice. That's exactly what I want it to look like. Nice, full, right up to the point there. That's almost smack on, besides a few little wispy rogue ones, but that's gonna happen like always. Just seems to be that way. Alright, so we're gonna cut this off and we'll get our wing going. Now this wing might be a little bit of a challenge because I am making a substitution here because I don't have jungle cock. Even if I did, I don't know if I'd use it. Well, I might actually use it for this pattern because it calls for the large jungle cock feathers, which I definitely don't have. I got some small ones, but to do like an overwing. And you don't use the large jungle cock feathers as much. So in this case, if I had a cape, I would probably actually tie this with the right material. Probably. Just burying that a little bit. I really don't have to because I'm going to be doing that with the overwing. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to use that much. We're going to remove some of that. Good bit of it, because we're going to tie in the overwing and it's going to get covered up anyway. There we go. What I am going to do is get rid of some of this angle here. I'm going to actually putting some more thread out front just to level this off a little bit so it's not all slipping forward. And we also want thread because we're going to use a little super glue. Whee! We do want to have a little bit of room right here. I'm going to make sure I leave a bodkin width here at least, because with squirrel, it's squirrely and it likes to squirrel, and that means slippy thread. Hey, so we got some nice red squirrel here. Again, this was from that fly tire that passed away, so. Oh, cool. Yeah, I need to get some new ones. All my boots and waders have, well, not all my boots, but a lot of my old waders are all just rotten now. I need to get new ones. I honestly prefer just to have, honestly prefer just boots. I don't like the waders as much. But thankfully, other than the water being crazy cold in Canada, it's all clean, so you don't have to worry about weird junk and stuff. So it's easier just to go in with some boots or sandals and get wet. But they do help when it's cold, for sure. They do help to insulate you. Hey, Shark! How you doing, mate? Sorry, I missed your stream. You actually got out there the other day. I was working and it was super busy and I couldn't join. Been waiting for you to get out though. I did see it. I did pop in there and drop you a like real quick, but I couldn't stick around. Alright, so we got our tuft there. Probably, well, we'll see how much it thins out. I don't think I'm going to be using the whole tuft anywhere close to that. Probably half. I didn't miss anything. What are you talking about? I missed your humor, your charm, your good looks. There was a lot to miss. Oh, sorry, just trying to clean this out without mucking up this whole thing. There's an echo. Really? There's an echo? Okay, see you, Casual. Good to have you in, mate. Good luck with the pike fishing. Might be, I don't think anyone else is saying there's an echo. What does it sound like, my mic or something? I don't have my other stream up, so it shouldn't be echoing from that. God, the squirrel's getting all over my bobbin and everything. The squirrel's such a crazy, messy material. Alright, so we're gonna go, what do we have here? A little bit past the butt. Something like that. Do we go with a nice big thick wing? Yeah, here, let me change the music for you. Maybe it's not like the best song anyway. Let's find something a little more mellow. There, we'll go with that. It's a little kind of reggae. Just wondering if I should bother stacking. I think I like it looking the way it looks. We could stack it though. Nah, I think we'll just go with the way it is. I think I like having a little bit of the puffy out there. Now we'll stick with that. Okay, so we want to get it right about about there. I'm gonna cut this off ahead of time so it's not so unwieldy. The ends just flare out so much on this specific tail. Okay, I'm just gonna fix that a little bit. There we go, nice and clean. Let's see if I got that cutoff point in the right spot. Yeah, that's kind of right where I want it. I think that'll work. Okay, so we want to tie this in, not in that ridge, but just right on the top here. So we're gonna get this tied in, just like right on top of that thread bump there. So not in this ridge here. That's where we got our beard tied in. If we tie it in there, it's gonna mess our beard up. So I'm gonna tie it in right over there. Aww. Okay, so we're gonna flatten this out. Hopefully you can see I got it flattened. So it's wider this way than it is this way. This is kind of tricky, takes a little bit of somewhat practice, but you turn it sideways like this. And you hope your eyeballs can see. You cut this in half and then twist it back. Like so. So I'm only biting that first half. And I'm going to come down around to the bottom and then back up and get the top half. And this is just loose wraps. I'm sliding a little more than I want to, so hopefully this sticks. I do 2 loose wraps around it and then bite down really hard. It's just hard when you're wrapping black on black or black on a dark color. Whew, okay. We got her. That actually worked out way better than I was expecting it. than I thought it was going to when I started wrapping, because it started sliding on me. There we go. Wow, that's probably one of the better squirrel wraps I've done, because it didn't actually move. So oh yeah, well he's a young buck, right? I'm like, my eyesight's 20/20. It's kind of weird because my eyesight is 20/20 still, but I'm colorblind in one eye. So my glasses actually help me with focusing with the color blindness. So yeah, even if you got junky eyesight, you can still fly tie. All right, we are gonna throw a whiff of super glue on this. Always really tentative about super glue. Stuck my fingers together too many times. In applications like this, I may actually have wanted to switch over to the little brush bottle. I should probably pick myself up one of those for like the smaller amount. I'm actually almost using up quite a bit of this. Oh, it's down to the bottom of that. That's surprising. Excuse me. More tea. Alright, so we're just gonna put, I just want like half a drop. I just want to get this wet. There we go. Now hopefully that soaks in. And then we're also gonna throw some rosin on this thing because we're rocking this. We're getting there. Surprised how well that came off, so let's keep this going. Squirrel is so hard, like I'm really reefing on this and it doesn't flare at all like deer hair. Well, at least this squirrel. It's like plastic tubes. Okay, so we're gonna get that little fuzz hair out of there. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly tie this down because we're gonna do more tying. I don't want to build up my head. So I'm just gonna be lightly tying this down. I'm going to go over top of this very lightly. Oh, it slid on me. Alright. I'm gonna have to go back. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna have to build up a thread dam and work my way back. It's gonna take a minute. And all that super glue is gonna get in my eyeball. Or my hook eye anyway, not my eyeball. There we go. You can see how it starts to build up and it starts catching. It dropped off on me, but it almost caught there for a second. We just need to build up a little more, that's all. Just be patient with it. It will get to the right height and it'll magically start catching. The super glue is going to take a little longer to dry than I would have liked, but it is what it is. There we go. So now we got that all bound in. Beauty. Oh, sticky fingers. That was close. Woo! I had just a whiff of it catch. My finger almost stuck to the fly. That make for an entertaining live. Hey, watch Nimby peel the fly off of his flesh. I'd rather not lose my skin. Alright. I'm gonna give that a minute to dry because it's clearly still wet. That really stuck good. And we're gonna clean out this eyeball before it solidifies. I don't know why, it's like every time I use this stuff it weeps and then gets right into the eye, even if I'm like, oh, I really did that. Look, you can see my fingers sticking together. There. Stupid super glue. Sorry, I gotta try and get this off my fingers. Or I'm definitely not gonna be able to tie in some cool wings. Wow, maybe I should have used some, I'm surprised how much I got on my fingers. I'm trying really hard not to. But you can see it discoloring there already. Wow. That's nuts. I really didn't think I got that close. Alright, let's let it dry. I end up losing some skin. Alright, I'm gonna prep the quill here while we're letting that dry. Dang, that really stuck. Alright. We don't need a left and a right, but I'm probably going to pull a left and a right since I have just going to pull off the left and the right side of the feather. This whole edge here is, you know, I would use this for tails, maybe beard, that kind of thing, but you can see it's really kind of chowdered up. Nothing to do with shipping or anything like that. It looks like, these look like preening marks. You can see these kind of darker patches there. Those are preening marks when the bird's cleaning its feathers. So I might actually have to take, I could probably take one out of here and one out of there. So I think we'll go with that. So it's not like it's not useful. Just trying to find my compass here because I was probably going to pull it out nicer. Just trying to pull it out without spearing my fingers. Oh, there we go. I'll have to use some acetone to get that off my fingers after. I know Nimby's whining about the super glue. Okay, let's get this. We want these to be not quite the gap height, so I'm gonna go maybe about half the gap height. Right about there, I think that'll do. It's about half. Well, let's bring it down a little bit more. Call that half. These are just gonna go on either side of the, like a shoulder. They're gonna go on either side of that. Pick a, doesn't matter so much on that side. On this side, I want to pick a good piece. This side's pretty broken. So we're gonna go, that probably looks about like the best piece. There we go. Try and keep this in frame. So again, the easiest way to do this, generally speaking, is to use your thumb and your finger to kind of put pressure to hold it out. Yeah, that piece isn't really the best. Oh good, I'm glad, Valhalla. I see it came. I'm glad for that. I can send out my other ones now. Cool, man. Hopefully you enjoy those muddlers. I gotta send Rob and Glacier Sharks out again. I have to send it out as a parcel. It got, I can't send it as mail. It got denied, so I'm gonna have to resend it. But I have it here and I'll resend it. I just gotta do it up as a parcel package instead of a oversized letter mail. So we're just going with like this. This one's a little bit on the damaged side, but cool, man. Yeah, if you use that with your dad, that would make my heart sing. That's cool. That would make me really happy. Hopefully you get something on it too. That would make me even happier. Alright, so we're just using the tips here, and we're gonna get a second one out of this side. Oh, just moved my very last second there. I didn't get there. We go. Okay, so we're just cutting like little slits out of this, like nothing crazy. It's just supposed to be a line, an accent, like a shoulder. So again, I'm just gonna pull that down and kind of pin it with my thumb there, and then I'll cut that bit out. I'm just gonna do it on the table here because I'm sure it's gonna want to flip around. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's read this. Don't lose it on me. Come on now, hold it together, boy. There we go. So we got two pieces out the same size. We'll tie the less damaged one on your guys' side. You can see it's got a curve to it. Oh, hopefully, here, let me hold it the right direction. You can see the curve on it, a very slight curve. So we want the curve going in, so it's cupping it. We want to put this along the side of the wing, kind of almost to the back, like to the butt of the fly. So might actually have to do this sideways so I can lay it in there proper. We don't want it to cover the body necessarily, we want it just above the body, so right there. And let's get our thread in the right position first, because I totally didn't. Now we want to have this tied in just above where we tied in the squirrel, so another like 3 or 4 thread widths back. Yeah, cool. I thought you'd like that one. I picked that one specifically for you. Well, he'll like that. I'm like, that's a really cool stamp. It's one of my other many things is I love collecting and using stamps. Well, that whole hobby's kind of going by the wayside, unfortunately. Not in my area, but in Alberta. We do have a lot of... I have a Triceratops leg bone that I found. When I was really little. Cool. Alright, so we got that one tied in. You can see it's just a nice red shock. We're not going to cut it off yet till we get the second one tied in, just in case I got to adjust it. Just pure luck. It was literally just sticking out of the mud. We got lots of fossil beds and stuff here. Really common to find like fish fossils and trying to think of the tree like cedar, that kind of thing. And of course we're well known for like our mammoth ivory, and there's gobs of fossils in all over BC. They're just harder to get because the terrain's like terrain's a little rougher, right? Alberta's easier because like I'm talking more about Drumheller area because it's flat land and then it's like an eroded hole like a cereal bowl, and it looks just like the Flintstones when you go in there, all the colored dirt and everything. A little too thick. Yeah, that's a little too thick. I'm gonna have to take, I'll flip it over so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Not sure why that one went so much thicker than that one. I have to take a few fibers off that. One second. This is a nice accent point of the fly, so I want to make sure it's decent. Yeah, we'll take off. I'll try like 2 or 3 fronds here. Of course, as me being picky, I'm sure this isn't necessary. There you go, you got a star. Just taking my time with the placement on this because I want it to lay in there correctly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's good. This other side on my side is a little damaged, so it's not as nice. But I mean, overall, it's fine. It doesn't have the same. There we go. That's good. I like that. That'll work. Yeah, well, it's rock, right? So like you're not gonna. I don't know, I guess you could probably epoxy it or something, but they're incredibly brittle. I don't know what you could use them if you could do anything like that. You'd probably be better off making it out of granite or something you could actually form. But yeah, if you never hold fossils before, they have like the consistency of like sandstone and shale rock. Like there's not a lot of substance to them. They fall apart real easy. That's why in museums and stuff they'll cast them and resin them and stuff like that so they don't come apart. They are definitely not strong at all. There you go. Those are a little bit better. Like anything that's in that dark black rock is. That's why there's thousands and thousands and thousands of all that, and there was a lot more trilobites around. But that rock is more of an igneous rock. It's a lot stronger than the sandstone and stuff that the other fossils get stuck in. Alright, I'm going to try and smooth up this head a little bit now. We got a little bit of a lumpus on us. I'm going to try and smooth out a bit here. Just fill in any of those little holes. That looks good. I like that. Okay. We'll do a couple half hitches. There we go. So you can see the other side. It's just a little bit more damaged. This side's nice. I really like that one. Nice and flat along the side. This one I'm not going to get it any flatter just because of the damage on it, but there we go. Some cat fuzz in there. Ugh, cat hair everywhere. So we'll do our 2 half hitches like we were talking about yesterday. Oh, and then we'll break our thread. Sure, why not? We don't need to actually tie a knot on that, do we? Normally I'd retie this and I'd do my whip finish on it, but we're going to put so much glue on this that I think we'll be fine with the 2 half hitches. I'm going to call it good. Yeah, because we're going to gob this with head cement and then varnish to get a nice shiny head on it. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, I am honestly really happy with how this one turned out. Oh, I got a little bit on the... That's okay. I got a little bit on the squirrel there. A little too quick. I really like I said, I've said this numerous times, I really like the orange and the red color patterns. Always gravitate towards those, and this one is no different. I didn't pick it for that reason, it was just next in my list, so. But there are a lot of the patterns that we covered are orange and red because, well, they work well. It's just like when you're doing more like crappie and big bass and all that, you're gonna see a lot more chartreuse and yellow and blues and stuff like that because they work. With steelhead and... Oh no, did my thread actually come loose? Booger. Did it? I thought I had it. Oh. Really, buddy? You were so close to being done. And you were so pretty. And you had to go and do that, didn't you? Okay. Well, actually, it still has one knot there, so... Yeah, I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. Alright, we'll get another whip finish on here then. Over top of the other knot. It's gonna make the head a little bit lumpy there, but it is what it is. Better than it coming undone. Although I really think the varnish would hold it mostly. I mean, if it was going in my box, which it probably is to be honest, I'd just leave it, but it's okay. We'll do this proper. Kinda wish I didn't wrap that up. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can use epoxy and basically force it into the material. Similar like you would for wood rot. Same idea. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it forces it into all the. I don't think it does actually get all the way through, but it'll get enough, you know. Just like this head cement's not going to penetrate all the way through. It's just going to penetrate most of the way through. Okay. We've hopefully fixed our failure. And we'll have a tight fly now. There. And that's all part of this, right? Like, just finding ways to overcome any mistakes and stuff that come up. It's all part of the process. Well, wood's like a cellulose, right? So the problem with something compared to wood compared to like a fossil is wood's a cellulose structure, so it's literally made like a bunch of tubes. Thank you. I'm hoping this bottom's not gonna be too what's the word for it? Lumpy. But when a fossil becomes a fossil, most of that process has already happened, where it is mineralized, right? It's not bone anymore, it's mineral. And that has happened the exact same way that you're talking about that they're going to preserve it, is instead of forcing resin like epoxy into it, over thousands and thousands of years, it's forced in minerals, have slowly leached in and mineralized. And it's the same process, pressure and, you know, another material being forced in that case minerals, to form around where the bone used to be, and basically you have a fossil after, right? So the problem with doing that with fossils, and you can, like they do it in museums and stuff, it's not that you can't. The problem is that process has already been done once. So all those voids and everything like you'd have in wood, because it hasn't been done before, the voids are still there, are now full of quartz and other minerals and lye and all sorts of stuff, and silica. So all those voids that used to be voids are now full of minerals. Okay, I think we're good there. Just need a little bit more on that tip. It's gonna be hard to get the right amount on there. Like it was literally just sticking out of, you know, looked like a chicken bone sticking out of the piece of dirt. It wasn't hard to identify. Literally looked like someone took a bone and just stuck it in the side of the road. Oh, that we had like some kind of local experts that I brought it into, and you know, they measured it up and just found that it was like um, the front part of a triceratops front leg, the bottom half, the bottom bit. So it'd be like a was that tibia? Or I don't know if they have tibias, but you know, the equivalent of like an front arm bone. Okay, I'm just gonna let this sit a little bit because I got a lot of glue on there before we stop spinning it. But yeah, I'm really happy with that one. That's a real pretty fly. I'm quite happy with that one. More tea while we let it sit there for a minute. Then I'll do my spin and spiel. Um, that and like we only have so many species of animals that get fossilized here too. Like it's really common to get species of fish. Like I was saying, it's some form of cedar tree anyway. They look just like cedar leaves, but you get those really commonly here too. Um, like the T-Rex and the Velociraptors and the Allosaurus and all that stuff. That's more east of me by a long ways, like into Alberta. That's where you'll find that kind of stuff. Excuse me. All right, I think it's just starting to glass up on me now, so I think we'll be good. It's gonna take a few minutes to dry. That's a pretty thick head. You can see just on the bottom where I had to tie in again. You can see just a very slight thread bump. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not gonna hurt anything. And it's probably better than the head unraveling anyway. Alright, so I'll do my spin and spiel here and be back in a sec. On the vise, we got a Scarlet Woman. This is tied on a number 4 salmon hook. It has a silver tinsel body with a silver oval wrap and a squirrel wing on the top with 2 chartreuse red goose biots, or not biots, sorry, goose shoulders coming out on either side, a nice orange bearded throat, and a nice bulbous glossy black head. This is a wonderful pattern. It was originally tied by Martin Trolley in 1968, and it was used as a fast sinking steelhead pattern, so it was very effective in waters where it was really cold and the steelhead were down low and they didn't want to come up off the bottom. So you could fish this and it would get down into those deeper pools and get you some fish. It was a very popular pattern, and I'm kind of excited to try this one. It's a beautiful fly. Happy to add it to my box. Hopefully you guys will tie some up and add some to yours too, eh? Thanks kindly. Yeah, really happy with that one. I mean, that's a pretty fly. That turned out real well. And I like how it's nice and streamlined like that. I could see how, like you said, it would work really well for getting down deeper into deeper pools. It would drop in real nice and follow the current. And the red on the sides and the orange beard and the silver are really gonna just pop once it's in the water. Really cool. Happy about that. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do the one fly today. I was a little bit later getting in because I couldn't find my my goose feathers, but I got them. We're a little bit later starting, so I'm just gonna do the one today. Oh, there you go. Really? Oh, I think I've seen pictures of those. Yeah, yeah. They got kind of almost like a beak-shaped front. Yeah, no kidding. I really kind of stuck my fingers. It's like I hate super glue for that. Why does it have to do that? Why can't it just be a friendly glue? I don't want an unfriendly glue. I want a friendly glue. It's kind of mean. It bites a little bit. Ugh. But it holds so much better than the head cement. So yeah, I'm sure I've seen pictures of those. That would be cool. I'm sure if you did some research, you could find where some fossil beds were that were public that you could get into. They're all over the place. You just got to find them. Yeah, that's kind of like for us. It's generally around lakes because the lake will, uh, well, rivers too. But the problem with rivers is, and you can find them around the rivers, but our rivers are so turbulent in the springtime that they wash a lot of that stuff away or it gets eroded like right quick. So there are some areas where you can get fossils farther up in the river valley on a ledge or something where it doesn't erode as much anymore, where the river has changed paths. But generally speaking, anywhere along a regular river, it's been so eroded. Hence why we get so much, gold and everything else too, right? Yeah, a lot of areas were lakes or rivers or oceans at one time before. Mm, there we go. But yeah, hence so that's the reason we had the gold rush and everything else up here. Um, yep, that's very true. Yep. Yeah, you'll break a lot of rock open before you find anything, but eventually you'll find some. It's all there. Um, yeah, one of the creeks we have here is the world's third largest hand-picked gold nugget, which was like I think it was like 6 ounces or something silly, like the size of your fist. There's lots of gold around here. You just gotta dig it out. But there's several areas that are free panning and public panning areas that are in the same creeks and rivers where they pull those out. Uh, I think it was either New Zealand or Australia. I want to say Australia. I know it's down that way. And that was big. I mean, that's like the size of my torso. Like the biggest one that was found was like huge, really big. But yeah, the second one, I think the second one was it Africa? Somewhere away. I'm pretty sure the first one was in Australia. And then there's been some bigger ones found in uh, Alaska as well, but they have a lot more nugget and flake and that kind of thing up there, just because it's a uh, younger, more volatile terrain, so everything gets beaten up, and turned into flake and whatnot. Okay, well, I'm gonna call it good for today. I'm gonna get my stuff all packed up and get ready for work. So you guys have a good day. Appreciate you all hanging out with me. It was a pleasure. Good to see you, Valhalla, Rob. What else do we have today? We had Trevor in earlier. We had Muddy. We had Casual Fisher. We had Glacier Shark. Devin. We had Trippy popped in. I didn't even see Trippy or Trips. And Muddy, of course. Am I missing anyone? Oh, we had Yoshi too. Oh, I totally missed Yoshi. I'm sorry. I need to look up more often. And Ethan. Yep. You guys all have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a good morning.